Peace and harmony here with you. Wanting to begin our session in our channel here with taking a look at some of the initial foundation that was laid in the psyche of the abused child. Now, a child, whether it be male or female, is going to experience either the physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, in different sort of way it plays out in their personality. What I would first like to look at is just a general overall understanding is impact to a very core concept called self-esteem. Self-esteem, which is the internal generating power that helps you feel good, okay, and safe as a person, and helps you in turn feel comfortable socializing. It helps you feel confident enough to excel in school. It helps you feel confident enough to excel in sports, music. It actually helps you foster and develop your own talents, which are something innate and part of your very being and who you are. And one thing that I want to discuss is the damage that child abuse, be it specifically emotional abuse. Physical abuse is usually tied together with an emotional abuse component. However, what I want to look at and understand here in this video here today, and we're going to keep it short, about 10 minutes, is the impact that that has on self-esteem and the ability for oneself as a human being to take action towards developing and even knowing their very internal talents, strengths, and abilities. There becomes an issue where once a person has been so severely criticized, demeaned, physically abused, slapped, hit, punched, yelled at, given criticism, judgment, shaming, hate, anger, being even in that whole environment, it creates a toxicity to the whole very soil from which self-esteem grows. If you think of yourself as a growing organism or a growing being, which is what you are, indeed, that abuse and that treatment in that environment, and we're discussing usually generally here in a family, it can occur at school, it can occur in your neighborhood. Generally, though, a lot of this is going to occur in the home unit, which is what I'm wanting to discuss here and help you work through here today and in this channel, is that in that very core of your being, that very life force is almost destroyed within the toxicity of that environment, especially if the abuse has gone on for years, days, weeks, months, seconds, milliseconds. Of course, the longer the abuse, the more severe the impact. And when I want to look at and help survivors of chronic abuse that occurred in a household on a regular basis, continual basis, day-to-day basis, where really they didn't have, any sort of almost relief from that experience, and they weren't able to develop that security, that self-esteem, that sense of connection with their inner self, and being able to develop that in the world, and how to work through that as an adult if that indeed is what you have experienced and gone through. Looking at the emotional abuse, as we said, it impacts one's ability to actually have self-esteem, which is feeling good about yourself. Feeling good about yourself is important for every single component of your life, be it doing well in school, doing well in a job, doing well with your friends. If that very foundation, that self-esteem, is corroded within you, you're going to find that you're attracted to the wrong people. You're going to attract perpetrators, people who take advantage of you, people who will exploit you, people who will, continue on that downward spiral of that abuse. In other words, it's almost like playing out that same abuse that you've experienced at home. It causes you to continue on that same path, or those same relationships to become toxic. And you oftentimes are staying with those groups of people because you feel powerless, or you don't, again, have the self-esteem or confidence to be able to move on and to be able to connect with people who are quote-unquote above you, or who are have a success self-esteem, a success identity, a high self-esteem, and you feel kind of isolated from that. And what can occur is that once you work and try to move beyond that negativity in your life, it's hard to transition into that healthy self-esteem. Even with tools, with a great amount of work, it can be done, but it does have to start from within, so you can then continue that relationship with yourself, and then again bridge that with others in terms of a healthy personality and identity in life. Now, one of the interesting things I want to look at is the idea of shaming, and verbal abuse, criticism, judgment, just how, and again, I want to look at the parent-child relationship here, and how that destroys then one's, core integrity, or almost, you can't destroy the spirit, because the spirit is connected, and it is eternal, and it is pure unconditional love, which is what you are. And oftentimes the child of abuse is so hurt and so pained, so shamed, criticized, judged, that they don't see that good within them, and they have a difficult time being that internally genuine good person, that they see their strengths reflected back to them, be it in their family, in their school, later in their friendships, their social relationships, and in their employer. They constantly have that embedded in their mind, that abuse embedded in their mind, and they tend to carry that with them. And the young mind, within that of a child who's 1, 2, 3, 7, 12, they don't have the mechanisms to be able to fend that off. So what happens is they tend to receive that message again and again and again, and it tends to embed itself in the mind, or in the emotional mind, which is, having studied psychology, it's the neural connections that we make within our minds that are based on messages from our environment, and then direct our emotions, which in turn create how we feel about ourselves, and then how we then make decisions, choices in the world, and become really the productive human beings that we're meant to be. And when there's such a severe amount of judgment, criticism, specifically, verbal and emotional abuse along those shaming lines, it creates a sense of shame that is, again, a very negative feeling, and it's the feeling that one is not good enough, one is not whole, one is not worthy, one is not welcome in the world, one is less than, all the experiences, and it pervades through their life. And most oftentimes, that child is going to try to struggle to get to the other side of that. Now, if they don't, that's where you start to see people with substance abuse problems, relationship problems, getting mixed with the wrong crowd, and finding themselves in trouble with the law. And again, it's very much tied to that internal self-concept. What I want to look at now is the fostering of healthy self-esteem, which is going beyond those feelings that were created by that family, and realizing that even though it was given to you from that family unit, it was just an experience that was then long ago as a child. In other words, those experiences are not you as a human being, as a person. that was what was in your environment. So my first suggestion to you today is, if you have experienced that and you're still dealing with that either as a teenager, a young child, someone in college, or even an adult, young adult or older adult, first thing you have to do is just try to slowly separate yourself from that family unit. Not saying that you are disconnected, but to realize that you are more than that, you are beyond that, and you have talents and strengths that are more than what your family had told you or created the way for you to feel. And in further videos, I want you to understand, we're going to understand and grow together, that you can indeed grow into a healthy self-esteem with tools, practices, practicing exercises, and doing a little bit of interactive work here on this channel. So that's my goal. Peace and harmony to you all. Love you.